Hey party people, Lily here and welcome back to the Art of Events channel brought to you by le.social. Today we are going to be doing some Reddit horror stories with our segment 0 stars, doing some Q&A, and we'll also be joined by a special guest from the industry. So, let's go. Ever wish you had more than just a photo to relive your special event? Well, you're in luck. We are joined by Brooke from Heartfelt audio guestbook from the Sunshine Coast. Welcome to the Art of Events, Brooke.
Thanks, Lily. Thanks for having me.
Awesome to have you on as our first guest. Look, we just want to get to know you, about how you're in the industry, a little bit about your business. So, yeah, take it away.
Thanks. So I'm Brooke from Heartfelt. I have audio guestbooks. So it's pretty much an alternative to your basic paper guest book that you have at events. They're really popular at things like weddings, engagements, baby showers, milestone birthdays, things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and they're just a great way to not just capture, photos and, obviously everyone posts to Instagram and things like that, but can use your books as a way to, remember their guests.
Definitely, and I find that it's just a lot more interactive. With your traditional ones, people are usually just leaving your stock standard, congrats, happy for you guys, love you. Whereas I find when they've got that interaction with the phone, they can pick it up and actually leave a bit more of a heartfelt message. They go into more detail and it's a lot more sentimental and they capture a lot more of the moment. And they can also reflect what was happening like on your wedding night. It captures a lot more of the moment and the emotion of the day, which is nice to look back on as well.
Yeah, and I think, it's an opportunity for people that, don't quite know how to write in a card, maybe after a wine or two, it kind of gives them an opportunity to really, send something from the heart. And I love the name that you have for your business because it makes a lot of sense to your product. It really does add a little bit of heart into, these events and these memories, that you really want to capture as well.
And you'll find even the granddads who usually do hold back probably wouldn't get too emotional. Later in the night, it is easier for them to leave a nice little message. And it is usually the ones that you find that you wouldn't expect to leave the emotional messages that are really beautiful to listen back to. Especially because it's not many moments that you have all your family, all your closest friends around, and you never know, like looking back in a few years, some of those messages, those voices that you've captured might be some of your most treasured keepsakes from the day.
Yeah. So how did you find yourself in the industry? Have you always been in events? How have you found yourself here and now?
So I have a very diverse background, mostly come from real estate. I was in real estate for well over a decade. Then I've moved to Brisbane and started my own little family. And it's really given me a chance to kind of step into something I'm a little bit more passionate about. And also being a mum, something that can give me a bit more flexibility with my time. It's been a really great opportunity to get back into the workforce on my own terms and do something that I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, with your business, have you looked at expanding to different areas? Are you, if you could expand your business, do you have anywhere else you might want to take it?
Yeah.
Or are you just happy with where it is?
At the moment, we've just got the guest books and the signage. You can also add on things like neon lights. We are located in Sunny Coast, but we obviously post Australia-wide.
So you ship everywhere?
We ship everywhere.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter that you're on the Sunshine Coast?
Not at all. So we've had bookings come all the way from Tasmania, Western Australia, New South Wales. So yeah, the books have travelled around
and overseas,
Australia.
Maybe if you send her a message, she might be interested.
Never know.
She'll look into it.
It's definitely in its little baby stage, so it's definitely something that I would like to expand on in the future. We're looking at booths, so you can really set up like little memory corners and things like that, be a little bit more interactive, and also they're already stunning and they add to the decor, but make it a little bit more of a decor styling piece for your events as well. Yeah.
We obviously have a few of the phones here with us. So these are one of the styles you have. I know you've got a few different styles, but these were the ones that we thought were funky with our little setup
Match
today.
the styling today.
Yeah, so and so they come in like all different colours and styles.
Yeah, we have quite a range now, so there's usually something to suit most styling and decor for events. So we've got a rainbow of colours, you could say.
Yeah, rainbow of colours.
And yeah, we're always adding. So if there was ever a colour that you were really after, you can also contact as well, and we can try
Maybe
and find
add it.
something that suits your event as well. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So tell us a little bit about, you know, from how you built your business, like from idea phase to getting your first phone to, you know, then building, you know, a small successful business on the Sunshine Coast. What was that process for you?
It was a pretty quick startup. So it was just the beginning of the year. Obviously, I'm a stay-at-home mum. So I have recently had my own events, such as an engagement party, milestone birthday for my daughter, and my own birthdays. And I am quite sentimental, so I do like capturing the small moments and things like that.
The emotional moments.
I find that couples are really wanting that personalised experience. And also sustainability, because it is a high item. So you're not really just having to buy paper guest books that aren't being used, thrown away.
Also storing them, you know, and they just end up in the back of the cupboard and, you know, filling up your garage and things like that. So.
And with your higher items where they can be used multiple times.
Is there anything that they need to know, you know, like order times, you know, how far in advance should they book you? Is there anything that they need to know to, you know, have a successful hire through you?
Yeah. So it's pretty simple. I've tried to keep it pretty easy. So we've got a website. You go on, there's a booking inquiry form. So it's got all your information that you need there. Mostly I need your date, venue, what phone you prefer, and then obviously we have additional hire things like your instructional signage, your neon signs,
so just
your add-ons, so you can get little keepsake USBs and things like that. You can all put your requests on the booking inquiry. I'll usually get back to you within 12 hours and let you know if your selected phone is available, and then you can just book through the website. So we have credit card, Afterpay, everything like that to make it super simple. Locally, if you live on the sunny coast, we can get a pretty quick turnaround. So depending on availability, if you need it the next day.
So you can do drop-offs and things like that.
Pickups.
Pickups.
Local pickup, So we have local pickup on Sunny Coast. I'm located in Caloundra. So you can come and pick up your phone, and it's a 7-day hire. So from pickup date to return, and you're allowed to pick it up to 3 days before your event and return 3 days after your event.
And if they're getting it from, you know, say they live in Sydney or Melbourne or like somewhere else, when do you send it before the event? So then they know when it's going to arrive and whatnot.
So I send all your phones via express post, and I allow shipping to arrive at least 2 to 3 days before your event. And then same thing, you return it 2 to 3 days after your event as well. Back to Australia Post. If you are getting it shipped, I'll include all your shipping labels and things like that. So you keep your box protective foam, and you
great. So they don't have to, they just basically just drop it off.
So you just put it back in the box, drop it off to Australia Post. They'll stick on your label and they send it back to us.
That's all paid for. That's great.
It's all included.
So out of all your phones, I do have a list of the names of them here. Which one's your favorite? So we've got Grace, Sophia, Clara, Bella, Audrey, Bridget, and Betty. Which one's your favorite?
So I think my favorite would be Bridget. She's very classy cream. She's got the gold accents, and she's been really popular with weddings. And I also love Betty because she's new. She's the new green one. So she looks really beautiful with your greenery and your really crisp white styling.
Nice.
She really stands out and looks nice.
Green's a very trending colour at the moment. When, you know, obviously they've sent the phone back and everything like that, what's the turnaround time with, you know, receiving those messages? How does that all work for them?
So I try and get the messages back as soon as I can. We say up to 10 days in case I'm ever away, but you'll usually get them within 24 to 48 hours of the phone being returned. And I email them through as a little voicemail gallery that you can download, and then you're able to share and listen back
Yeah.
as much as you like.
So a lot quicker than actually the photos, you know, because photos can take months.
Yeah.
Well, especially weddings, they can take literally months to come back.
Yeah.
Which you can understand why with the level of editing and things like that. So there's not a lot of editing that you have to do.
No.
It's really just, you know, sending in that you can get it to them
Yeah,
quite
I
quickly.
obviously go through and make sure you've got all messages, any blank messages and things like that aren't included.
Yeah, so you clean them up.
Yeah, but I do try to get them back quick while you're in the moment of it all and exciting, and it's people.
Well, the calm down of, you know, keep your spirits high and the come down after,
a lot of
you
people
know, having
are
an event.
on their honeymoon.
Yeah.
So it's nice for them to be able to listen back to those while they're on their honeymoon as well.
So we are going to dive into our next segment, 0 stars would not recommend. So this is all about horror stories, everything going wrong, and basically stuff you don't want to happen again. So you give it a 0 stars. So we're reading one today from a Reddit. So here we are. Am I the arsehole for leaving a dry wedding early to go out? All right, this is going to be good. So 2 weeks ago, I, 35 female, went to a wedding in our college town for a member of our college friends. My husband and I left the kids with my parents and went. We got a VRBO with another couple. I'm assuming that's maybe a taxi in America. I went to college with for a few days. My husband and I don't have a ton of time to ourselves away from the kids, so we were excited to let loose. On the invitation, it said the wedding went to 11 with another after party with the bride and groom at the venue. Okay, well, cool. So super key for people having weddings. Make sure you've got somewhere for everybody that wants to kick on to go afterwards, because it sounds like even in America, even in Australia, you get kicked out at 11, which I just think is crazy.
It's such a common.
If there's anybody out there in this world that wants to have a venue that can be open till 2 p.m, you'll be the busiest wedding venue in the world. But it sounds like this is similar in this situation. So they had an after party around. Okay, the venue was a gorgeous mansion, and the bride and groom had it for the night. They were leaving for the honeymoon the next morning. Cut to the wedding day. It's a dry wedding. Apparently the groom is 2 years sober. No one told us this, and we were admittedly bummed. When we found out there was no alcohol, we told people we were going to some bars after and not going to the after party. Yeah. All right. We left the wedding at 9:30 because we were itching to go out and the wedding was boring. Pretty much the whole college crew left around that time and went out. Apparently, the bride's friend group did not stay for the party and the grooms did, and the optics were very lopsided at the party. So that's assuming that all her friends didn't want to stay.
All her friends left and
but the grooms did. Obviously, because he's the one that's the actual sober one.
Yeah.
So. We all heard from the bride about this, and she called us all arseholes for leaving. She said that she didn't feel supported and felt like we were spiting her now husband for his sobriety. I told her that she was reading too much into it. We just wanted to go out. She is especially mad at me as I looked at the ringleader
like she was initiating.
Looked at as the ringleader of this outing. I don't think I've done anything wrong. Am I the arsehole?
Maybe a little bit. I think maybe a little bit.
I'm sorry, you are. Next Reddit story, and this is another Am I the Arsehole? All right, for changing the wedding venue, my fiance chose to something more flashy as a surprise. Okay. I don't know how you just pull that off, but anyway. All right. I, 25 male, am marrying 24 female this coming October. We both have very large families, but hers is really, really poor and kind of traditional. As a result, my fiance has been taught to always go for the cheapest option throughout her life. whether we are going to eat or buy clothes or going on a holiday. So she's been brought up to be a little bit more resourceful with her decision making.
Budget.
Yeah. And on a wedding day, that can also be a bit of a pain in the butt. So, I've been planning the wedding. So the male is planning the wedding in this situation. Well, I've been planning the wedding and the choice of venue was typical for her. A small local church she was christened in, so she probably got it for free. Right off the bat, the place isn't suitable for the number of guests who will be invited. And I know she only chose that location because of money, which is not the issue. So it seems like they have money, but she's, which is rare for a woman. So, he's got himself a good one. I spoke to my father and he agreed to fund the wedding abroad in Venice. Jesus,
oh, wow.
All right, nice. I'm their only child, so getting married is a big deal. And that's obviously why your family has money. And to arrange transportation for all the guests. He agreed to cover all expenses, so obviously I changed the venue and sent out invitations. I knew the money spent would make her anxious, and she has always dreamed of visiting Venice. So I waited to tell her until it was organized as a surprise. Okay, so she didn't find out on the day. Like rock up to a different venue.
Yeah. It's destination wedding. I
True.
think.
Yeah, I think she's got to notice that she's in a different look. She didn't take it very well. She said I was a massive arsehole and that she had much preferred the church venue. She said it was too embarrassing to cancel it now, and I've told people, but seems really mad. I'm confused since that the venue was never practical and am wondering if I am the arsehole here or if she is just overreacting. Am I the arsehole? That's a tougher one. The other one was definitely like straight up, yelp.
I do think though it's a wedding day, I think decisions, especially big things like venue, should be made together.
Yeah.
And a destination wedding, especially, like not all of her family might be comfortable traveling. Might not be able to travel at such late notice. And she might hold sentimental meeting to the church venue.
That was what I was thinking as well. Yeah, that's what I was thinking is that, obviously he was like, logistically it doesn't make any sense. But for her, maybe it was not just about it being cheap, it was also about it being sentimental and, a place where she was christened, etc.
Beautiful gesture. I mean, it's probably depends on the couple. I mean, I wouldn't personally complain about a fully paid destination wedding in Venice.
Yeah, I don't think I would be like, you're an arsehole. I would just be more mad about
be included in the decision making of my wedding.
Feels like just kind of like kicking them out of, the decision making process, their day. Which is just, I think the dynamics of it being a male doing it versus a female where
it's a wedding day, not a surprise party.
Yeah.
Very much giving, do you remember that show? What was that show called where the groom would plan the wedding? They were given a budget and then the bride would just have to show up, and most of the time the bride was devastated. Do you remember that show? Okay, so that show is called Don't Tell the Bride. Yes.
Yeah, we just looked it up. So Don't Tell the Bride. Yeah, I think just both of them have kind of like, one, overreacting. I think she'll get over it once the day happens. She'll enjoy it and appreciate the gesture. But I just don't really see why he couldn't just ask her and run it by her. Especially, I felt like it's like sometimes people that don't have money and people that do have money, sometimes their ideals of what should be happening because they have the money for it to be more extra, they push that on people that maybe are just a little bit more comfortable with a reserved environment. And, she's the bride. She needs to be comfortable on her day.
In this situation, is he the arsehole? Yes, because his bride's upset.
Yeah.
If the bride wasn't upset, then no.
So now we are going to do some questions from you guys, our followers. So thank you for writing all of those in. We will ask again this week for more questions for our future episodes. So the more questions you guys bring in, obviously the more engaging and entertaining it is for us to do this because we feel like we're talking directly to you guys, which is obviously why we're both here. So yeah, keep the questions coming in. Let's start with these ones. Brooke, take it away.
Okay, so I've got some questions from your followers. How can you make a big impact at a party with a low budget? That's from Kira on Instagram.
Okay, so this one's super easy, and it might not be your vibe, but balloons. Balloons are the best. I love balloons. You can get them from $2 stores, Big W, Spotlight. There's so many places you can get them. You just buy your own. You can even go like a cheaper option, like literally buy them online on places like Shein and Temu, get yourself some really cool balloons. What I suggest is buy some backup ones for, say if you buy like the 3 and the 0 for your 30th, make sure you have a backup 3 and 0. They're literally like $1 on Temu and Shein and things like that.
Even Kmart has them.
They are lower quality, but you can get the colors you want and the style. There's a lot more variety than when you go into these balloon stores. They do have some, but they're usually like $15 for, a 3 or something like that. So balloons. And yeah, once you get on Shein, Temu, or buy them online, you'll see there's some really awesome options. And when I say balloons, I mean helium balloons. Because, they're the ones done, they're blown up for you, really easy, you don't have to do it all. Yeah, you can get like 10, 15 bunches of balloons for like $60, $70. And it just absolutely vibes out the whole area. So that's probably the most cost-effective way to add a vibe or a color scheme to a room or an area is literally just helium balloons. Not the most, environmentally friendly, but usually the cheap options aren't environmentally friendly. But if you're looking for environmentally friendly, obviously you got reusable services like Brooke's and mine. Nothing in mine is throw outable, it's all reusable. None of them are balloon garlands or anything like that. So that's what I would do. Do you have any cheap things you would do?
For big impact
Yeah,
on a
for
low
big
budget. I like really little personalized things. So you can use photos that you already have. I really like those personal touches.
So like doing like photos on strings or like making a photo wall.
Candles are really beautiful for nighttime events. I find that you don't really need much more if you have candles.
Okay, so next question. So I've recently been tasked with, I've recently been tasked to organize a friend's 31st birthday. I have no idea why I was chosen though, because I'm absolutely horrible at planning events. The birthday girl wants a party ready for 2 weeks from now. Please help, what am I meant to do? First of all, it's a little insane that your friend wants you to plan a party 2 weeks from now and you're actually not very good at it. But what you should do is book my kits. You don't really have to know anything about events. You don't need to know what you're doing. I give you tutorial videos. That's really the purpose of my kits, is for people that are tasked with things that they're like, I'm in out of my depth. I don't have the time for it, whatever the reason is that it's an event stylist, an event manager in a box. Thanks everybody, that's it for today. A massive thanks to Brooke from Heartfelt for joining us on our very special episode and being our very first guest.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, cheers people, have a good week.